Have you ever found yourself doing the exact opposite of what you know is good for you? Of course you have. We all have. Today, we're going to dive into self-sabotage. That super frustrating, super common human habit of getting in our own way. And we're going to use a fantastic guide from CBT specialist Veronica Walsh to figure it out. And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? We can be so brilliant and creative and capable, but then our choices sometimes make absolutely zero logical sense. But here's the thing, that's not a personal flaw. It's just part of the deal of being human. So that brings us to the big question, right? If you know hitting the snooze button for the 5th time is going to make you late and totally stressed out, why do you do it? If you know that junk food makes you feel sluggish and kind of gross, why do you reach for it? Well, let's dig in and find out. Okay, so let's jump right into our first section, the irrational human. This is all about normalizing these behaviors and understanding that, you know what, we're all in this boat together.
Any of this sound familiar? Mindlessly munching on snacks while you're watching TV, letting this amazing body you have sit on the couch, putting off that huge project until the very last minute. Yep, these aren't some deep, dark character flaws. They're just incredibly common habits. We know better, but we do them anyway.
So now that we've seen some of these patterns in action, let's actually give this thing a name. In this next section, we're going to get a real handle on what self-sabotage actually is. And listen, this right here might be the most important thing you hear today. Self-sabotage is not who you are, it's a pattern of what you do. And what's so powerful about the cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT approach, is that it sees this as a habit. And guess what? Any habit can be changed. It's not a permanent part of your personality. It's just a loop you've gotten stuck in. So to make this a little less abstract, think about this fascinating study. When we drink alcohol, it literally dampens the alarm system in our brain. You know that little voice that screams, "Hey, maybe don't send that text." Well, alcohol turns the volume way down on that voice. It's a real, measurable thing happening in your brain that just tanks your self-control. And this shows you the cycle perfectly. It's a trap. You start with an action you think will help you cope, like having a few drinks. But that lowers your inhibitions, so you do or say something you regret. Then comes the bad outcome, the hangover, the fight, the embarrassment. Then you feel anxious and depressed about that. And what feels like the quickest way to stop feeling so bad? The very thing that started the whole mess. It's a vicious, vicious loop. Okay, so we get the why and we get the cycle. Now, let's get really practical with the what. This next part is a tool, a checklist, to help you pinpoint exactly where these patterns are showing up in your own life. And this is so, so important. As we go through this, the goal is not to feel bad or ashamed. Not at all. The goal is just awareness. Think of it like turning on the lights in a dark room. You can't change what you can't see. So just have a look and be curious about what feels true for you.
First up, avoidance and delay. Ah, yes, the master of "I'll deal with it later." This isn't just procrastinating on a paper, it's also that sneaky stuff, like suddenly deciding to organize your entire closet when you should be working on your resume, or ignoring that official-looking envelope, letting it sit on the counter. It's even staying in a job or a situation you know is making you miserable, just because the thought of changing it is too overwhelming.
Next, we've got unhealthy coping. These are all the things we do to manage stress or tough emotions that totally backfire in the long run. It could be obvious things like using alcohol, or maybe less obvious things like way too much caffeine. It can be lashing out at the people you love or choosing a partner who actually encourages your worst habits. It's that quick fix that always comes with a bigger price tag later. And finally, we have the traps of our modern world. Oh boy. Getting sucked into an endless social media scroll, losing hours to a video game, binge watching a whole series when you meant to just watch one episode. And of course, the big one, the bedtime doom scroll that ruins your sleep. This also covers the real basics, like letting your nutrition slide or just not taking care of yourself. All right, phew. We've laid out the problem, we've identified the patterns, so what on earth do we actually do about it? That brings us to our final and most hopeful section, a path to change. The way out starts with something incredibly simple, but honestly, it's profound. Our brains are wired to learn by discovering things for themselves. And one of the absolute best ways to discover what's going on inside your own head is to get it out of your head and onto a piece of paper. And that leads to this beautifully simple 4-step plan. Step 1, go back to those lists and just pick 1 or 2 of your patterns. Step 2, journal about it. Seriously, write it down. When does it happen? What's the trigger? Get that clear view. Step 3, now plan what you can do differently. Just a small change. And step 4, this is the magic part. Monitor what happens. Did that new choice make things better? If it did, your brain will notice and it will want to do it again. It's a new feedback loop. If you only remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. This is the core idea. We spend so much time waiting to feel motivated or inspired before we make a change. CBT completely flips that around. It says you have to change your behavior first, and then the better feelings will follow. Change what you do, and I promise you, you will change how you feel. And that leaves us with one final thought. Look, this isn't about some massive, radical life overhaul tomorrow. That's not how change works. It starts with one tiny step. So my question for you is, what one small pattern, just one, will you decide to just become aware of today? Because that awareness, that's the first and the most powerful step you can possibly take.